So if you're in barber school and you're wondering where to get started, I'm making this video because this is exactly what I would do if I was starting over as a barber today. So while you're in school is one of the best times to figure this out. You don't want to wait till you graduate to start thinking about where do I go, what kind of shop do I look for, etc. You want to figure this out while you're still in school. So one of the first things I did when I was in school is I started to think about what type of clients do I want to work with? The reason why you want to figure that out is because that's going to determine how you spend almost the rest of your career. Deciding first the type of clients you want to work with is by far, I think, the most important decision you can make. And you can start to figure this out while you're still in barber school. You want to try to figure out what are the clients that I enjoy working with, because that's what you're going to be doing your entire career as a barber. You might as well be doing something that you enjoy. When I noticed that when I was in barber school, for me personally, I didn't have any interest in doing designs, color enhancements, or skin fades all day. I actually enjoyed working with clients that I could learn something from, that had really cool jobs and that had money. They tipped well. They had easier haircuts that I could knock out in like 15 minutes. And I just enjoyed being around them. So I decided early on in barber school that I wanted to work with clients that had money. And once I realized that, then I realized where I needed to focus my training, where I needed to develop my skills. If I'm not really going to be working with clients that have designs and all this crazy stuff, I don't even need to worry about learning that. But what I do need to learn is how to use my scissors, because the clients that are coming in that have money sometimes are needing a whole haircut with just scissor work, right? And you get all kinds of textures. But I realized that like a lot of the clients that are coming in that I enjoyed working with, they, at least in some part, even with curly hair, are going to require some type of scissor work. I think you need to be versatile as a barber and be able to work with whoever sits in your chair. But I realized that I was not good with scissors, and a lot of the people that were coming in that I wanted to cut required haircuts that had, at least in some part, required some scissor work. So I realized in order to work with these types of clients, I need to at least get better at my shears. I need to get better at everything because I sucked when I started at barber school. But I specifically wanted to train on scissor work because I didn't care about designs and color enhancements and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to focus on what are the things that my clients care about. And a lot of them didn't care about the color or the designs, right? So that when you decide what type of clients you want to work with, that makes everything else easier. So the next thing I would do, and this is again before you graduate from barber school, is once you decide the type of clients you work with, then you can start researching the demographics of the city that you're planning on working in. So for me, for example, I knew I wanted to work with clients that had money. So what does that mean? That means that people that have a high annual income. Once I knew that, then you can start to narrow it down, because if you're working in a relatively large city, there's going to be a lot of barbershops to choose from. So in order to narrow it down, what I started doing was I started researching the highest income zip codes in my city, because there's thousands of barbershops to choose from that I could potentially work at, but which is going to be the one that is most likely to have the clients that I want to work with? Chances are they're either going to be in or near the zip codes that have the highest income. So I started researching, and this is what I would suggest for you. I would research, depending on the types of clients you want to work with, the demographic, what are the zip codes or the areas of town that you work in or planning on working in that have most of the clients that you want to work with. And that will start to narrow down when you're starting to look for a barbershop to work at. That will start to narrow down, okay, well, I just cut out half the city's barbershops by simply narrowing it down to like these 3 zip codes. I want to work in these 3 zip codes, so or close to it. So that means I'm not even going to consider any barbershops that are far from these zip codes. And I would say once you're a few months out from graduating from barber school, now it's actually time to start meeting the owners of these shops and actually physically going to the barbershops and introducing yourself. This is what I did when I was like 4 months out from graduating barber school. I started, and I didn't live in the city that I was going to work in. I had to travel 3 hours to get there. Once I narrowed down the zip codes of where I wanted to work, I started to look at barbershops that were either in those zip codes or very close to it. And I actually started going to the barbershops and started introducing myself to the owners. And I would actually sit outside in my car and just watch for like at least an hour. I would watch the traffic that was going. What I wanted to see is how many people were going in and out of the barbershop, because that gave me an idea of this. Well, if this shop is busy, then this would be a good place for me because I'm coming out of barber school. I don't have any clients and I need a lot of practice. So I need to go somewhere that has a steady stream of walk-ins. And you have to put yourself in the mindset of the client. You want to think about what are the clients looking for in their barbershop, right? So chances are you want to go to a barbershop that has been around for at least a few years and that has a good reputation online. That's what clients are looking for. The clients generally don't want to go to a brand new barbershop that doesn't have any reviews on like Google or Yelp, and they want to go somewhere that's popular because that's an indication that they're probably popular for a reason because they're pretty good. So put yourself in the mindset of the clients when you are looking for a barbershop to work at, because that's the same criteria that they're going to be using that could potentially mean they end up in your chair. Look for a barbershop the same way that a client would. This is the same thing I did. Once I narrowed down the kind of the zip codes that I wanted to work in, I started looking at what are the barbershops in that zip code, and of these, which ones have the best reputation, because that increases the likelihood that we're going to continue to get a steady stream of new clients. If there's a good reputation, that's almost like free marketing. So you don't want to go to a shop that's like brand new when you're fresh out of school. You're going to have barbershop owners coming into your school, introducing themselves, telling you all kinds of, you can make this much at my shop. But the reality is there's a chance, I think there's a good chance that the barbershops that are the busiest, they may not even be coming into your school because they're too busy, right? They don't need to advertise for barbers because they stay busy. So keep that in mind. You don't want to go to a brand new barbershop when you're fresh out of school, because what you need is practice. I definitely don't recommend opening up your own suite either, because what you need when you graduate school is practice. Even if you already know how to cut hair, it's one thing cutting in somebody's garage or their living room versus cutting in a barbershop, and this is your full-time job. And you have to learn not just how to cut hair, but how to stay on time, customer service, working as part of a team. And it's hard to get those things if you've never actually worked in a barbershop. So my suggestion and what I did was I wanted to work at a barbershop that was really busy, that had a great reputation, so that I could get the practice that I needed when I was fresh out of school. When you graduate barber school, unless you've cut hair before, chances are you're probably going to need to work on your skills, which means you need to go to a shop that can give you practice. Some barbershop owners don't like to hire barbers that are fresh out of school because you're basically practicing on their clients, but some will, and some will kind of take you under their wing and show you the way. In my opinion, you want to go to a barbershop that has a steady stream of regular clients and new clients, because you're going to get so much more reps in than somebody who's sitting in like a booth rent shop where they might do like 2 haircuts a day. Somebody who goes to like a commission or an hourly based shop where they are getting 10, 15, 20 or more haircuts a day is going to get significantly better skill wise than somebody who's only doing a few haircuts a day. So in my opinion, and this is what I did, I would go to a shop that was either hourly based or commission based when you are just getting started in the industry. I understand you need to make money and I get it, but what you need more than that is skills. Money always follows skills. And if you start at a shop that's commission or hourly based and you just focus on perfecting your skill, once you have the skill, then you can go wherever you want after that. But if you start out and you go to a shop that's new or slow just because they're offering cheap booth rent or whatever, you're not gonna get as many opportunities to perfect your skill, which could ultimately hold you back in your career. So I would say until you're 100% confident in your skill set and you're like, I don't know how I could get any better, then I would start off by going to a shop that was really busy and that was either commission or hourly based. So that way you can also get more of a guaranteed paycheck rather than, oh, I didn't cut hair today at all, so I don't get paid, right? When you go to a shop that's commission or hourly based too, you can make money from day one, unlike a booth rent shop where, I mean, there might be some booth rent shops that you can get a steady stream of walk-ins if they have a good reputation, but a lot of booth rent places are going to be like, unless you have like an established clientele, you're going to struggle a lot more from day one than somebody who went to a commission or hourly based shop. So this is just my opinion. This is exactly what I did. Before I graduated school, I decided what kind of clients I wanted to work with. I did the research. I found the barbershops in the zip codes that I wanted to work in. I went to every single one of them. I met the owners. I sat outside and I watched. And then I ended up choosing a shop and I started there and I got a lot of practice. And I went from essentially nothing, fresh out of barber school, to fully booked within 1 year of being out of barber school because of all of those decisions I made before I even graduated barber school. And this is what I would recommend if you were in barber school and you're not sure where to go when you graduate. I would go through those steps. I think you'll find that you're setting yourself up for a long, healthy barber career. You might feel like you're taking a step back in the beginning by going to a commission or hourly based shop, but in the long run, you're going to end up making way more money because you'll have the skills. So hopefully you found that helpful. If you're looking to join a group of barbers in a mastermind where we're all focused on growing together and making more money, I'm going to put the link for my group in the description below. I hope to see you there.